Which of these candidates do you think wants to reduce spending the most?
Well, I think that the one who's been most outspoken on the spending issue is Ron Paul. But the difficulty with Dr. Paul, of course, is a winning election, and then what do you do if you're working in Congress without a lot of sympathetic people? I think that what is much more appropriate than simply having a goal of $1 trillion, though I think that's a good start, that's what Ron Paul has talked about, would be if one of them would be very straightforward about vetoing any sort of new spending or new authorization that wasn't fully paid for. And then again, the balanced budget amendment and establishing statutory limits on federal spending as a percentage of GDP. All of that is important, and I think that all of the other three candidates have endorsed that sort of thing. The difficulty is that Newt in particular speaks so grandly about his tax cuts, and those tax cuts are not nearly accompanied by enough spending cuts to compensate for them. And that means you're making the deficit worse. Mitt Romney doesn't speak with enough passion on spending issues in general, but I think he will begin to.
Which candidate do you think is the most against redistribution of wealth?
I think they all are. I mean, this is clearly the idea of the government being used for redistribution of wealth. I think all of the major candidates remaining are very clear in their opposition to that.
But as you pointed out previously, only Ron Paul is the one who is asking to reduce the total amount of spending by $1 trillion. The others just want to...
That's not true.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
I might have got that mistaken.
No, I'll tell you why you've gotten that as a mistake, is that if we... Right now we're headed toward 25% of GDP.
That's a problem, huh?
Correct. And if we were to reduce that all the way, Mitt Romney has called for reducing spending to 20% of GDP. I believe that would amount to close to $1 trillion. It would be a very huge reduction.
Oh, I see. So you think he also would reduce spending the first year by $1 trillion?
No, not in the first year.